for a fact at home on our reserve, there's families that just they can't look at
Train
people
going
and
by.
they keep themselves bottled up. Why? They're ashamed. Why are they ashamed? These young people that are ashamed is because they're carrying the residue of their elders that went to residential school. The residue. They're carrying that burden, that hurt, that sorrow, and the experiences of their elders. How I know this is because those families that carry that, definitely those elders are the ones that were sharing their experiences with their children and their grandchildren and probably their great-grandchildren. I wasn't like that. My mother kept those things from me, so I was raised differently. I would say too that the Hmong people that are not here, our native people, whether it be Katsi, Semiahmoo, Sawasan, Musqueam, Sta'alis, Quiquitlam, Kwantlen, the ones that aren't here sharing these days today are still carrying that anger, that hurt, and they can't come and rub elbows with you because they were told those stories, those experiences from their elders, their aunties, their uncles, their grandparents. So it's really today for me to be here with you. I'm really glad to be sharing with you because this is in need. Reconciliation, what is it? It's a time that we come together. Why did it take so long? Well, I heard one of the elders saying that it was because of the 1997 they came up with the discoveries that they had about the effects that residential schools had upon our people. And they say we have to bring it to the surface. We have to start learning about it. We have to start teaching our children the wrongdoing that our country did to the people that we label, we put numbers upon them. So for me to tell you what I think of reconciliation, to believe, and I say this because I've talked to probably some of your children that attend the schools just up the hill here.
Sorry.
And in the last while, talking with my oldest son, because he's right now in our home community in Katesy doing what I'm doing,
Sorry.
talking to our community and our children
Turn
and
the people over
grandchildren
there.
of what this day means. Reconciliation is, okay, the truths came out.
Excuse me.
They're starting to tell the history of what happened to our children, the atrocities of children not coming home, and they're finding grave sites, and elders are sharing their stories, and books are being written. But now today, what do we do as a people, as community, as friends? I say that lately I came up with this talk, but I was talking to my family, is everybody knows that the old adage, they say, oh, we're different because we came from the other side of the tracks. We're poorer than the ones on the north side of the tracks. Well, with us as Q'uomo people, the people of the land, I won't use the analogy of the railroad tracks. All of our nations here in British Columbia are attached to water, some sort of a water source. So I'm going to use the terminology of a river, a creek, or a stream. We were from the other side of the creek or the other side of the river. You guys were from the other side, the non-indigenous, non-aboriginal, non-Indian. So what is reconciliation is that we're on each side of the river or the creek. We're walking amongst our own people. And if you come to the water's edge and yell, I have a question for you people. I'd be one of the first guys to build a bridge. Come to the middle of that bridge. Come and meet me over this waters and ask me the question about my people, my culture. I won't bring you to our village. I'll come to your people and share my knowledge. It's expected of me to do that because of the name that was bestowed upon me. And the same thing, if any of my people on our side of the river ask a question, I hope that I could take you across that bridge and you could come and share your knowledge, your traditions, your beliefs. Well, we're already there because when our children go to school, we learn about non-Aboriginal ways. But non-Aboriginal people didn't get that. You come in our side of the river and learn about us. Well, we're at that point right now where we finally get to share our culture, our history, our way of life. And definitely with the people in the audience right now, is I thank you for being here because honestly, I think it's time that we get to this point where we're finally allowed to be open about our way of life, our people. And thank you for wearing the shirts, because as my brother Harley said, there's a heavy burden for this. Why I say that is because I know there's some elders at home. They're probably sitting in their living room still shedding tears because they remember of what happened when they attended the schools. When those 215 grave sites were discovered, wow, our community went to the elders and we sat with them and shed tears with them, comforted them, let them know that we weren't forgotten. So part of this, the orange shirts is, yeah, it does carry a heaviness, like how Harley was mentioning. It's great that everybody is sharing this with us, though. It's heartwarming. Truly, truly heartwarming that this residue, I guess, is coming to the surface and we finally get to talk about it. And together, we can make a difference. Together, all of us. One thing I thought about when we were down before we started our walk, our brother Harley brought out the drum, and the young men started singing. That drum, we call it the kawat, or drum, the heartbeat of the mother. Why we do that is because in our language, in our way of life, we say natsa mat. Natsa means one. Mat is a mind and heart process. You put your mind and your heart together and think as one. And everybody in the audience has that. Amazing things can happen. 1,000 people together can make more of a difference than just one person standing alone by themselves. So part of that the song and the drum and the prayers that came, not somewhat, we all stood one heart, one mind, and we walked in a direction. That's reconciliation. We come together, we walk together, we learn together. Our way of life, growing up, I always remember elders saying that we as Kwamok people, Kwamok means the people of the land, the First Nations people, we were told from young children right up to today, we say, our elders say is we, as the people, we sing together, we dance together, we laugh together, we travel together, we cry together, we do things together as a people, because we never went behind closed doors and did something, then keep it a secret. We were never secretive people. We always shared. We did things out in the open. So not so much that heartfelt feeling when Harley mentioned that walk like you have 1,000 relatives, 1,000 ancestors with you. I felt it. Truly did. Hearing the people, like I was limping away trying to get myself here, and there were people passing us, or passing me. Then there's a gentleman that was standing behind a rail, and he was watching all this sea of orange shirts going by. He goes, "What's going on? What's happening? Why are you guys doing this?" Somebody says, "It's Truth and Reconciliation Day. We're marching to the stage." And they're trying to invite him, and he goes, "Oh, I can't. I'm working today. I'm on the job, but I just seen the orange shirts and I heard the drums." So I wonder if that gentleman is here today now. Maybe he's taking his coffee break, joining us. So honestly, with how we come together, how do we make a difference? I mentioned that why I'm here is that I'm here for the young ones. Those young ones that were at the edge of the stage and the ones in the audience. I have a vested interest in each and every one of you. If there's anything that I can take from my knowledge, my heart, my experiences, and offer to these young people and make them a better person, sign me up. I was doing it for 21 years up at the school district here in Surrey. I serviced 127 schools. 77,000 students attended those schools. And I love having the ability to go into those classrooms and those gymnasiums to talk with young people, sharing a little bit about my culture, my history, my people, our beliefs. I think that's something that should have happened hundreds of years ago. Why did it happen just 2008 when the apology came from our leader, the Prime Minister of this country, said he was sorry? Why did it take so long? Why did it even have to happen? So we know that the truth is coming out, like the elders are finally get to share their experiences, letting people know what actually happened. So now it's up to us, is what do we do as a society, as humankind? We don't forget about it. We learn from the past to pave a better future for our children. That's what reconciliation to me is that how do we help one another make a better place for our people? So no longer do you, as citizens of Surrey, look across the bay and say, "Oh, that's the Indian Reserve over there. That's where the Samiamo people are." No, we're right here with you right now. Don't be afraid to come and shake their hands and say hello. We're just as respectful as you people are. I always say that I was raised as a young man or a young boy, that I was taught very quickly that my mother said that respect is the highest honor that you can give someone. And if you're really lucky, respect is the highest honor you can get in return. So part of the way I walk my life is to be respectful, be mindful. And my brother Harley said it. He says, have love and kindness in your heart. I know, I've heard my brother speak so many times. He's a warrior spirit. I've heard him speak. And today he came with kindness in his heart. I do too. I also respect and kindness. I'm here for the love of all the orange shirts, acknowledging what happened in our past and where do we go from here. It doesn't stop. I started a conversation today, and I hope that the conversation doesn't stop when we part ways, we leave this beautiful park. Continue the conversation with your friends, your neighbors, your family, your leaders. Don't be scared to ask your children what they learned in school. Because I was mentioning, they're learning a lot more about this past history than some of the elders in the audience. They're learning it every day. So with that,